Yes, hello friends, how are you doing today? Thank you very much for being on the channel. I do appreciate the work you put in. And the comments and the videos, I read everything, I go through everything. You are doing a good job as well. I don't want to waste so much of your time, but we all know that the despot, Museveni, has illegally picked his cabinet that he's going to work with. What is funny is that the cabinet is not also aware how long they are going to be working with the despot, because anytime soon, is likely to be forced out of power. Such are the realities of being an African despot, authoritarian, as well as a dictator. Nevertheless, he went ahead to elect a few people that he would like to work with. And I'm going to try to make sense of what, or trying to make sense of what he picked and the people he chose to run the government, to run the illegitimate government with him. Now, according to the Daily Monitor, Museveni, new cabinet members are loyal, hardworking, blah, blah, blah. Museveni said Thursday that he had appointed the capable members to his cabinet early this week after personally following and observing them for a long time, allaying fears that most of them may not perform to the expectations of Ugandans. According to Museveni, the newly appointed cabinet ministers are loyal, hardworking, and not corrupt. Museveni said, like Christ went for the fishermen and left out the Pharisees and Sadducees, who represented authority, he also decided to go for the Nabajers, leaving out the so many good people and intellectuals. Now, the list he picked, the vice president is Jessica Lupo, coming from northeastern part of Uganda. She's Anita Sot, of course. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, Rebecca Kadaga. Most of you have seen this cabinet. Now, let's just try to make sense of the entire cabinet and the people he chose, and what this means. But when you see and look at this cabinet, it has the hallmarks of Museveni trying to respond on how he's going to deal with Bobi Wine and how he's going to deal with people power. Because I saw people laughing at the picks that he made, especially the prime minister, a former primary teacher known as Robin Nabanja. Such is the kind of person that Museveni wants. We shouldn't be asking the people he picked. No, we should be, at this juncture, 35 years in power, coming to 40. At this juncture, we should be asking what is the role of a prime minister in Museveni's leadership? What is the role of a vice president in Museveni's leadership? What is the role of all these ministries in his leadership? Right? That is what we should be asking. But people are asking the wrong question to ask that, oh, what is Museveni's, oh, they have picked incapable people. That is by design. People are supposed to be incapable. Number one. Number two, the capable ones that he picked in the past, the likes of Apollon Sibambi, the likes of, what's his name? Hakana Rugunda, the likes of Amama Babas, all these picks, they never made anything. Because Museveni is the one that micromanages everything. So if someone asks you what's the role of the prime minister, simply answer there is no role. What is the role of vice president? Be as subordinate, or be as royal, be as calm. You know that role. You know that rule that they say in Sun Tzu's Art of War, that rule, is it rule number 1? I think it's one of the top 5 rules. Never outshine your master. That rule applies to every minister that Museveni selects. Now, no one is going to perform anything. Buganda, all these other regions have had these ministerial positions, and I laugh whenever I see people laughing. Ha ha ha! Museveni has given us the Itesots. We have so many positions. Oh, now we have ministers. I really laugh when I see people jubilating. Oh, all of a sudden now we have ministers. What is the role of a minister? That's the question. And what power does the minister have? Absolutely none. What power does the prime minister have? Absolutely none. So if you come out castigating that lady called Nabanja and the other ones that have been picked, you should also understand that in the past, the people who were there before them, they didn't do anything. It is Museveni's show, of which he's the only dancer. He is the drummer, he is the trumpist, he is the saxophonist, whatever. It is his show. He plays the instruments, composes the music, writes the play, and then dances to it. No one else is supposed to take part. That's what it is. So what that means is technically that these pigs, they are as bad as their predecessors. These people who are succeeding, the people, like the new ministers are going to be as insufficient, are going to be toothless, they are not going to be able to do anything. They are gonna be as bad as their predecessors. Now, but the only difference that we see in Museveni's new cabinet, of course, it is the picks that the quality, the quality of people that he has chosen may be a bit different. There are so many women. There are so many people that are, are not your regular people that you would have thought that he would have picked. Secondly, of course, there is still that element of so many old people, and also the fact that not so many people, of course, in central region of Uganda have been given positions in the top 6 or in the top, one of the top positions in the country. So which is really interesting, but still there's nothing they are going to do, the ones that have been picked. Now this is the issue. When you look at the cabinet, it has hallmarks of Museveni trying to work to neutralize NUP, to neutralize people power, and to punish those that let NUP or those who let people power and His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu to be able to take a foothold in the capital of Uganda. Because we all know very well that if at all these people had not done what they did, beating people up, of course, Museveni, Bobi Wine would have triumphed all over the place. But because we had these hiccups in Buganda, we managed to secure the region, the central region, as well as the Kampala region. And in Kampala region, when I talk about Buganda region is cosmopolitan. It has so many tribes. It has so many different people from all walks of life. So it doesn't mean only people from Buganda. No. It means a collection of so many. Buganda is Uganda summarized, literally. Buganda is Uganda summarized. That's it. Like so many people, you find them there. And people have intermarried, people have bought land, all these kind of things. Now, of course, Museveni chose this cabinet having Bobi Wine in plan, having His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu in plan, having NUP in plan. And that is why he chose these people. Now, question. 2 things for me caught my eye. Now, or 2 or 3 things, what it means, especially towards we, people who support change. Number 1. The fact that he is picking people basically who are aligned with the northern part of Uganda or northwestern part of Uganda, it is quite interesting because we see some of the topmost positions in Uganda are either in the north, or northwest, or some that would call eastern, or in the south, in the west. For example, let us look at the top positions in Uganda, the hierarchy. Of course, the head of state, like in Museveni's world, it is him coming from the west. The vice president, Jessica Alupo, the lady you see here, she comes from the northeastern part of Uganda. She's an Itersot, as well as she doubles as a former retired major in the UPDF. Now, what that message sends, it sends it to the people of Iteso and people of that area that, look here, I'm with you guys even if you voted against me, but I'm giving you a vice president. If I die of COVID tomorrow, this lady will be the vice president. Suffice to say, she was even a former major general. So, you guys are in chin too, as we say that you are in things. Anytime when I die, she takes over 6 months, then we hold elections. Then you look at other positions. For example, after the vice president, we have the chief justice, who is Owinyi Doro. He also comes from that same region. Deputy chief justice and all these other people, I think he's I've forgotten his name, but he's either I think he's from the north as well. But then you also have things like the Speaker of the House, Jacob Olanya, comes from the north. The Deputy Speaker, Betty Amongi, comes from the northwestern. You get the deal, eh? So then you're looking at the Bank of Uganda, is from the west, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. The CDF, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, he's his son. The UPDF commander, the CDF, David Muhoozi, comes from the west. SFC commander, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, comes from the west, right? Police, Okoth Ochola, comes from the north. His deputy, who is in the power, Paulo Lokech, I think he's Chapado. Paulo Lokech, he also comes from the north. You get the deal. So what Museveni is trying to do here is trying to create alliances with the north so that they isolate the central region. if you know what I mean. Secondly, about this cabinet. The cabinet is there to it's there to punish, especially people who were in the Buganda people, the Baganda who are supposed to be in his cabinet, that failed to give him a win in Uganda and managed to let Bobi Wine to become triumphant in the country, as well as especially in this particular region. So those people, they were not given any positions. They were completely left out. And it is time for other people, as Museveni thinks, in order to look for other areas where he can consolidate his particular support. But above all that, this is just a small, the biggest point here, especially for NUP and Bobi Wine, and how he influenced Museveni's cabinet. The takeaway point, it is that the entire cabinet is a smoke screen. And that is the thing it's meant to do. To be a smoke screen. Just a curtain. You remember when he made a speech in the State of the Nation address that flopped, he said that it is time for the children of the veterans to take over. That's what he signified. Secondly, he said he's going to start employing rich people. What did he mean with those statements? The same statements that Muhoozi, his son, said way back in 1996, saying that only the rich people should rule Uganda. Museveni is reiterating those particular points today. It means two things. By the time he said those words, what he meant was that the young people of the veterans, as well as the rich people, are already taking over. Not from the front, no. They are deep in the deep state. They are behind the curtain. These are the ones that have been fronted. No. Those are not the ones with power. Those are not the ones that make decisions. Those are not the ones that make budgets. Those are not the ones that hire and fire. No. These people, some of them have been put there strategically to make them incompetent. So that when Museveni decides that, oh, okay, you guys, you know what? You said that this person was incompetent, Jessica Lupo. Okay, and you said she's old. Let us remove Jessica Lupo and bring someone else. And that is why you see there's a parliamentarian who raised a very big point that said that David Muhoozi is one of the last CDFs that fought or that were part of the liberation war-ish, is the last CDF. Now what that means that you have removed David Muhoozi out of the UPDF and now you're putting him into the civilian because Muhoozi is still a serving military officer and he shouldn't be partaking in issues of that are going to separate people in one way or the other, because they should not be engaged in politics. That is what it is. The rule is the army, the military, the police are not supposed to be engaged in politics, especially when they are still serving. Now Muhoozi is a military commander, CDF, Chief of Defense Forces. He's a Minister State for Internal Affairs, and then he is also an MP, taking salaries of 3 positions. So what that signified is the fact that Muhoozi Kainerugaba is going to be tossed out, whereby a new CDF is going to come up. And trust me, a CDF that is going to come up is going to be one of those young people that Museveni is talking about. The ones that he thinks that are ready to take over. So he's bringing a younger CDF, and most people are thinking that it might actually be his son or someone related to his son. Now, for every ministerial positions that you see today that he picked, there is someone behind that position, a cabinet in waiting that they have elected that is deep in the state, what we call the deep state, that they are going to be infused into this cabinet slowly by slowly. Or, two things are likely to happen. This particular cabinet is going to be working underground for all this time, whereby they are going to be running the show, whereas the ones that you see here, the Arupos, the Nabanjas, whereas these ones are just there as, smoke screens or as curtains, as postures to cover the other people in the back, because that is where the entire thing is going to be done. Now, while working in the back, what Museveni is doing is that he's tired of his ministers being targeted, as well as his administrative officials by the West, by sanctions and all this kind of stuff. So what he wants is the fact that, now look here, before this young cabinet takes over, he doesn't want it to be susceptible to sanctions. So he wants them to work from undercover or underground and use these ones as puppets, whereby if the US or any other country is hitting Uganda with sanctions, they hit those sanctions with these old people, not the ones down there. You get the point? So by the time the other ones down there get on, because what Museveni realizes, okay, if this minister has been sanctioned, remove him out, bring a new minister on. Bang, that's it, done. So that is what is actually going to happen. Now, this deep state, we know very well it is now operating. Of course, it is Museveni's first family, the Muhozis of this world, and the people he went to school with. Those are the children that Museveni was talking about. So you shouldn't be looking at these people, because these people cannot make any choice. Like even if Museveni, even if a minister's role is to remove this lens from here and then maybe put the lens here, he cannot lift this lens at all. Not even looking at it. You can't even find the flip. You can't even find the lens. Sorry. You can't. The ministers cannot literally even find the lens. So they will only be given the lens to present. You only touch the lens if Museveni tells you to touch it. You only lift it if he tells you to lift it. You only see it if he tells you to see it. That is how business is conducted under Museveni. So do not castigate these ministers. Do not even waste your time on them. But people behind, they are the ones that are running the show. They are the ones running the show, and we know that very well. So, if you are coming from a particular region, thinking that, oh, even us the Itesots have thought about us, even us the Lukbaras, even us the Baganda, even us the Banyoro, bro, you are in for a ride. I don't think you have been in Uganda long enough to understand how this despot operates. But that is how he operates. No one is given a ministerial position that he's going to change anything. Literally nothing they are going to change. You tell me, what are they going to change? You mean they are going to build roads? They are going to put their bursaries? Where? Where? Tell me where. Where is it going to happen? It's not going to happen. You know that. But the budget, everything that Museveni has planned now is to counter His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. But what he's doing is, he's doing it overtly. Is it overt? No, covert. It's covertly. And from within, from inside, down there. So that you all don't know who is running the show. But of course, we are very aware that Muhoozi is part of the show. And he has started positioning these people in different areas of government and in different positions. We all know those things. So let us wait and see. But all this has been influenced by Bobi Wine. Museveni, I believe this is not the same cabinet that he would have chosen if at all Bobi Wine was not here. But the fact that he is here, Museveni now is being forced to do as many mistakes as possible as he can. I don't know how he thinks that the people he has hidden from the public, he's going to bring them out and say, okay, now you guys believe in these guys, they're the ones that are going to succeed me, let them take over government. I don't know how that is going to be reacted to. All we wait is to see what happens. But for those in opposition and activists, we need to also amplify our fight. We need to go out to rural villages. We need to start small revolutions in rural villages and sensitize the masses down there and let them understand that the people in cabinet, they are toothless. There is nothing they can do for them and nothing is going to change for as long as the dozing despot is still in power, coming to 40 years. Thanks very much for listening. Let's meet in the next one. Have a nice day.